Nova Online has big problems.
A very lewd picture and a very nasty message. It's that time of the month again. Kiwitapes and Smoky MCC. I just don't want the Asians hunting my head.
And I work a couple shifts and I realized that he's just a weird kid.
I vowed to never go over 300 pounds and I'm sticking to that vow.
Okay, you pervert, you get my phone off of TikTok before you have an accident.
Okay, that is cold.
The last time that I covered Gabriel Gage, aka Nova Online, he was suffering from job withdrawal, going almost 3 months with no job, and this lack of employment seemed to be weighing on him more and more. But that was far from the only thing on Gabe's mind. He had also developed an intense hatred of me and my co-host, Smoky MCC. On top of that, it seems like his uncle and mother are really on his case recently. I believe it's about him not having a job and his internet antics flowing over into his real life, but Nova is far more concerned with other things, like his food reviews, which have been rather interesting lately.
It's some of the best chicken out there for the best budget price. Let's try this out. Bone apple teeth. Mmm.
But chicken reviews aren't the only thing that Nova has been doing with all of his free time since being fired, because he was also spending a lot of time weaving paracord bracelets for his business. At least, a business is what he calls it. He also likes to say that a portion of the proceeds go to charity, but so far we have only seen proof of $3 donated. But don't worry, we'll get there. The reason I'm bringing up Novacord now is because it has been a source of constant trolling for Gabe. Through his business, he has doxed his phone number, address, tons of personal information. Granted, a lot of it was already out there, but this just made it even more public. And one day, Nova receives a piece of mail addressed to his Uncle Drew, and he decided to open it. I know it's been said before, but I think people need reminded that opening someone else's mail is a federal crime. And on top of that, he didn't like what he found inside.
A letter addressed to my uncle appeared in the mail today. He doesn't even fucking live with me. And what it was in the letter was a very lewd picture and a very nasty message, saying that I never fulfilled a paracord order from someone who never even emailed me. That picture is going right in the garbage. This is completely fucking unacceptable. I mean, this is the first time this ever fucking happened, and this is just completely rude and ugly. Now, another thing came into the mail that I was looking forward to.
What an absolute throwback. I haven't heard of anyone using Gamefly in ages. I feel like it's been replaced by far better services. Maybe I'm wrong. I also want to point out that Gabe has been unemployed for almost 3 months and is still spending like there's no tomorrow. I don't really think the lack of a job bothers Gabe until he runs low on money, or until his mom starts asking for some of his cut of the bills, because one week he's happy, and the next it's a big pity party about how he has no job. But it's Nova, so he's still doing a food review or chugging a can of soda. And I do mean literally chugging.
It's that time of the month again. A few days before the 14th. 14th, it always hits its peak. Ever since the incident. Let's check it out.
The incident that Nova is referring to is the loss of his last job, the very thing that makes him suffer from job withdrawal. It had been months since Nova was last employed, and that job didn't last very long, so Nova was relying on his TikTok income to keep him afloat. But even this wasn't enough for Nova. Between the cost of food reviews, shopping, and the bills that his mom wanted him to pay a portion of, he still needed at least a part-time job to sustain his lifestyle. And things would get even worse for Gabe when he was taken out of the TikTok partner program, meaning that all of his TikToks were no longer monetized. I don't know the exact reason for this, but Nova has said some things and done even more that violate a great many of TikTok's terms of service. I think they finally just had enough. Of course, this was devastating to Nova, who made a couple of cryptic posts before getting into it further during a TikTok video.
So, as many of you know, I got removed from the Creator Fund a few days ago. A lot of my higher effort videos were posted on here. They take more time to make, they get more views. So this month, expect a lot of Nova Cord related videos and more lower effort food reviews. TikTok thinks they can phase me. They cannot. Novine Universe, signing off.
Personally, I don't see any difference between Nova's high-end food reviews and low-end food reviews, so there was hardly any change, except for the fact that Nova was getting paid absolutely nothing for his posts on TikTok, which was big news, and I talked about it on my weekly live stream, Too High for Stupid. During the live stream, me and my co-host Smokey MCC cover the antics of a lot of people we make videos on, Nova being one of them. Well, Nova knows about this live stream and watches it, especially when we cover him. But make no mistake, Nova hates our guts, and he's tried to do numerous things to ruin our show, from starting a rival podcast to accusing me of using slurs. There's nothing that's off the table for him. Not even the weaponization of charity. Nova would post a video of him doing the ice bucket challenge. The way this works is you challenge someone else after you've completed it yourself, and I bet you can't guess who Nova called out.
What's going on, y'all? It's Nova Kadri, and I have been nominated to do the USC Speak Your Mind Ice Bucket Challenge. So, before we start, I just want to say two things. First off, I would like to nominate kiwitapes and Smokey MCC to do this challenge. And also Owen Wesley, who I've mentioned in a couple of my videos before. I would like to nominate them all to do this challenge. And second of all, go twinkle with the... Let's do this. Okay, that is cold. Hey, Nova Kadri, Novine Universe, signing off. Not gonna lie, I would gladly do that again.
Needless to say, we didn't do the ice bucket challenge, and needless to say, anything that Nova was attempting here failed. But being angry with us wasn't the only thing that Nova was up to during these times. Ever since the TikTok videos were demonetized, he was live streaming more and more, and Nova's live streams usually end in disaster. I can't even tell you how many times that he's rage quit because of a comment, or had to end stream because he revealed a piece of personal information, or even had a friend on who said something that violated TOS. Recently, Nova met a man on Discord named Connor. Nova and Connor had this will they, won't they kind of relationship. Gabe said many times that he enjoyed Connor's flirting, but their friendship began to fall apart when the public learned of Connor. During a live stream, Connor would say a couple of slurs, causing Nova to end the stream. Nova really enjoyed his friendship with Connor. He saw him as a massive support system. But there were also two things prominent in Nova's life that he didn't like. One, live streaming. He would get doxxed constantly in chat. And two seemed to be his mother and uncle, who were now more than ever pressuring him to get a job. And it turns out when you combine these two things, live streaming and Nova's mom, it's a recipe for disaster. One night while Gabe was live, his mother's phone number got doxxed, and people started sending her messages. Some of these messages accused Nova of doing some things that he was known to do in the past, but claimed to give up now, like diapers. Nova's mom wasn't a fan of them, so when she saw these messages, she decided to confront Gabriel while his live stream was going.
What? The f*** are they sending my mom? no, they're doing it other half. I know better. What are you doing right now? I know better, Mom. Gabriel? Like, I'm literally just here, peacefully making paracord, and people are calling my fucking mom. I did nothing to fucking deserve this. Give me a minute. I'm just sick and tired of every time I go live, trying to make things that I think would entertain my audience, and someone goes and tries to ruin the fun by fucking doxing my family.
And I don't condone that kind of behavior that's happening to Nova's mom. She personally has done nothing wrong and already has enough on her plate with Gabe. And I really mean it, because these days Gabe has been out of control. Later that night, a couple of Discord messages Nova sent had been leaked. They showed 2 pieces of damaged property, 1 a door and 2 the wall. This is what I mean when I say Nova's mom has enough on her plate. She just wants Gabe to get a job and help pay the rent. Maybe even stop getting so many phone calls from his trolls. But instead of taking the proper steps to prevent these things from happening, he puts a hole in the wall. I have only put a hole in the wall 1 time, and it wasn't even me. Me and my brother were having an argument and started throwing sweet potatoes at each other. I'll admit, I escalated things a bit, probably shouldn't have gone full force, but after I whap my brother with this potato, he gets this crazy look in his eyes, and I know I just gotta book it. So he takes this thing and just pitches it as hard as he can, trying to just destroy my lower back, but I'm about halfway across the room, and I dive behind a couch. And I shit you not, this potato leaves a massive hole in the wall and just busts into pieces. Some days when I'm not very grateful, I like to think about how life would have been different if the potato had connected. It would have hit me right in the kidney. I'd probably be on dialysis. But the reason I bring this up is because it was a moment of great shame for me. I felt terrible that I had a hand in destruction of my parents' property which I had no means of fixing or paying to be fixed. But Nova hasn't even mentioned it. I almost know for a fact that those holes are still in the wall and the door. I bet money that his mom doesn't even know. It's like I said, he's out of control. And after that stream of his mom calling him out, things seemingly got worse. Especially when he posted this intimidating video, much like a wrestling walkout. I'm done being the one everyone picks on. I'm done playing nice. I'm done with this bullshit. Prepare for a whole new side of me. It's also hard to miss the menacing Mortal Kombat mask that he's sporting. After seeing this, you'd expect Nova to have a little bit more of an attitude during his streams. But something would happen the very next day that took all of that pep right out of him. His friend Connor, the one who he calls a massive support system, cut him off, saying that he was afraid of getting doxxed.
I just lost one of my biggest supports in my life now. If you want to know, Connor just unfriended me out of the blue. And he was a really big support for me. Now I have just one person left. He just dropped me out of nowhere because he's trying to remove the internet from his life. I'm on the verge of crying. How can I be okay when I barely have any supports left?
The loss of Connor seemed to have a big impact on Nova, at least in the short term. He had lost all of his fire, and along with it, his focus, burning some of his hair when trying to finish a paracord bracelet. The day after, Nova would get a haircut, and I gotta say, he looks a lot like Billy Mitchell, all allegedly of course. Nova said that this new haircut made him feel like a diva, and it brought back some of that energy that Connor had taken, so he was back to posting his regularly scheduled content, like food reviews. Just because Nova was demonetized on TikTok didn't mean he was gonna stop getting DoorDash or buying food for his reviews. And there's one I want to show you briefly because it's a Subway sandwich, and I gotta admit, it's one of the most unappealing that I have ever seen.
This right here is the most underrated sandwich at Subway. And of course, I'm at Pilot. So this right here is what I believe to be the most underrated sandwich from a former Subway employee. A tuna, extra onions, white spinach with banana peppers, and normal peppers. So let's give this a try. Bone apple tea. Onions are the best vegetable that God ever created. This is so good. 10 out of 10, hands down.
He's also back out at the Pilot gas station. He loves it there. I'm pretty sure it was a filming location of Gas Station Shower Review, a series where Nova does just that, reviews gas station showers. But that's long in the past. He's only got a couple of gas stations in his town. So now it's on to reviewing these nasty tuna subs. And live streaming, which he's been doing more and more as time goes on. But on the 29th of April, he would say something that stuck out to me more than the rest. He said that he had a girlfriend, and then he needed scissors for his paracord bracelets, so he went and woke his mom up, thinking she had them. Newsflash, she didn't.
No, you. Sabao. No, you put the fries in the bag. Oh, god damn it. Mom still has the scissors. Mom, wake up.
What up?
What in the f***? I did not do this.
Oh, you didn't invite me?
What in the actual f*** did I just do? How do I expand this?
Before I go any further, I'd like to take a moment to thank two individuals who have been archiving these Nova streams. One is Kelsey on Twitter, also known as Low Taper Toe, and two is Chin Universe, also known as Busen Faker. Two absolutely goated places to view these streams, and a big shout out to them because this video would not be possible without their efforts. Nova mentioning that he has a new girlfriend is concerning. If you all remember, a couple of months ago I talked about how Nova started a podcast with a 15-year-old co-host, so I shudder to think at the age of his quote-unquote girlfriend. Either way, he says that things are getting more serious, but it's really only a matter of time before he doxes her and everyone knows the full story. Even to this day, information on her is sparse, but if I'm being honest, everyone was far more interested in Nova's job hunt, which was once again heating up. You see, Nova was getting very desperate. He hadn't had a job in 4 months, and you know his uncle and mother were on his case. Things were so bad financially that Nova started talking about beginning an OF. He said, and I quote, that he didn't want to, but he might have to. The only thing holding him back was a potential interview that he had coming up, but he quickly found out that they had no interest in hiring him, and he would talk about it during one of his TikToks.
Well, another job interview and another job I didn't get fucking accepted for. What the fuck am I doing wrong? No one wants to fucking hire me, and I've been unemployed for damn near 6 fucking months.
This so-called job withdrawal that Nova was suffering from impacted his mental state greatly. At least, that's what he wanted his audience to believe. Making a bunch of low-effort TikToks that had a sad vibe to them, like the one I'm about to show you where he reviews chicken outside in the dark and begs for employment from his audience.
Trying the chicken parm sandwich from Capriati's sandwich shop. Once again, I'm desperately looking for a job, so if you're a manager in the Spokane Valley, the Coeur d'Alene area, actually hiring, no fake job offers, just please hit me up on my email, please. I'm fucking begging for a job at this point. I've gone almost 6 months unemployed. And this video is going to be out right away. I'm not whacking this in my drafts like I do most videos, because I'm that desperate for a fucking job. Not gonna lie, I think Capriati's might be a new comfort meal for me whenever I'm feeling down like this. Once again, if you're a manager hiring the Spokane Valley, Coeur d'Alene area, please hit up my email with your actual @businessname.com email so I know it's real.
The cherry on top of this whole video is Nova wearing his Liam Payne memorial t-shirt. I hadn't heard Nova talk about One Direction until after Liam's passing, and if I'm being honest, I didn't see him wearing any Black Panther shirts until Chadwick's. I think there's a pattern here, but I don't want to get too deep into it right now. Because Nova's job withdrawal was getting worse, which basically means that his mom was on his case a lot more. And Nova would only make things worse by going live to talk about job withdrawal and act generally sad.
I tried the convenience stores. They still don't want to fucking hire me. Not even fucking McDonald's wanted to hire me. They went with someone fucking else. I can't drive. I think OF is the last option. And if that fails, it's not that I don't want to, I might have to. I've been trying my hardest not to ask my fans for money. It just shows incompetence.
Nova always fails to understand that he is one of the most infamous individuals in his hometown. A great many of the residents know exactly who he is and what he's done. But to top all that off, he's had 7 jobs or so in the past year. He is nearly unhireable, and when the jobs that do hire him see his work ethic, he never lasts long. So personally, I believe that when Nova acts like this, it isn't job withdrawal, it's money withdrawal. He wasn't quite so worried about it until he was demonetized on TikTok, but now he wants to tell this big sad story about how no one has hired him in 6 months. And make no mistake, Nova isn't just sad about it, he's also mad. More and more during Nova's live streams, he's been raging at chat, who bring up the fact that he's been caught participating in predatory behavior, or that he has no job, or just that they love his Uncle Drew. Nova hates being reminded of all of this, and has rage quit his stream countless times because of it.
Okay, time to block people. Alright, that's fucking off! Fuck this shit. I'm fucking done.
Nova will just sit there, slack-jawed, weaving his paracord bracelets, occasionally looking over for negative comments, and then use them as an excuse to rage. His poor mother is not only elderly but also disabled, and a lot of the times that Nova bothers her, she's trying to sleep. That, plus the holes that he's putting in the walls, makes me feel so bad for Mama Gage, because I doubt she knows all the stuff that her son is up to. Because what she does know about, she's not very happy with. You saw earlier how she called him out of his room during a stream to talk about diapers. Well, I'm going to assume that conversations like this happen a lot off camera, and that the bulk majority of them are about Gabe's unemployment. He's a grown man, and she expects him to pay part of the bills. Well, due to job withdrawal and a crippling addiction to Hufflepuff merchandise, I don't think he's been kicking anything up. So because of the pressure from his mom, Nova has been frantically looking for a job, something which I thought was hopeless at this point. But to everyone's surprise, one day Nova would post a video saying that he had finally found employment.
Hey all, after 5 fucking months of being unemployed, your boy got a new job. Finally, the job search arc is over.
A little spoiler warning, but he didn't make it at that job for more than 3 weeks. But for now, Nova was ecstatic. He had just found employment, no longer suffering from job withdrawal. But that didn't mean he wasn't still suffering from money withdrawal. Gabe was very grumpy during live streams, which were becoming even more frequent after his demonetization on TikTok. Well, one day he was doing a gym stream, and he got really mad at chat, and one of his fellow gym goers didn't like the language that he was using.
Try decreasing 100 pounds, dip.
Excuse me? Could you clean up your language, please?
Nova didn't hear anything that she said. His music was so loud. Even to this day, I don't know if he knows. But it just goes to show the sheer aggression and rage that he feels during these streams. And it also shows that even if Nova wasn't on TikTok, I still think he'd be infamous around his hometown. Singing karaoke shamelessly in the bar, using his Harry Potter wand outside, and getting mad about just the littlest things make me believe this. There is so much proof that Nova is full of hate, not just for his trolls, but all kinds of different people. We all surely know of the Instagram debacle from a couple of months back, where an official Nova Instagram account was using some horrid language, so it was no surprise to me personally when Nova made yet another video that was extremely insensitive, acting like it wasn't even a big deal.
Hey 18 plus fans, so I've got a new cooking video coming out when I'm making pork fried rice. I'm possibly also going to add some chicken to it and do it half pork, half chicken. Now, here's the thing. I got the sesame oil. I got the less sodium soy sauce for my mom because she has lymphedema in her legs and needs to stop eating a lot of salt. I got the sambal. I got the MSG. Uncle Roger would be proud of me. I got the green onion. I got the shallot. I got the garlic. I got everything. Unfortunately, Safeway gave me jalapenos instead of Fresno chilies. And, they didn't have any, galangal. Do you think I could still make a good fried rice with jalapenos and ginger? I just don't want the Asians, hunting my head.
Wow. The absolute nerve, Gabriel. It's no wonder you were demonetized on TikTok. Absolutely shameful behavior. But I don't believe that Nova has shame. Not only because of stuff like this, but also the state of his home. During the last clip that I showed you, Nova talked about preparing a meal. This is something that has become a staple of his content on TikTok. But during this particular cooking video, his kitchen looked worse than ever. From crumbs of actively rotting food to stacks of unwashed dishes. It is straight out of Resident Evil 7.
Let's make garlic pork fried rice. When the rice is done, I'm gonna put it into an airtight container, season it, and let it sit overnight. Rice is done, so I have to wait 24 hours, but for you, you only have to wait a few seconds. Alright, it is now officially a day later. I have made the fried rice sauce, which consists of sesame oil, ginger, garlic, sambal, soy sauce, white pepper, and then right now I'm prepping the shallots. And yeah. Alright, now I can finally get cooking. I've got a wok here, seasoned and everything. We've got ourselves a chopped up pork chop. We're just gonna go ahead, since the wok is seasoned. Go ahead, throw that in there. That's gotta be some of the best fried rice I've ever had.
If that house isn't already infested, it's only a matter of time. The amount of places that they can hide, the amount of food, it's just the perfect environment for roaches or even mice. Maybe one day we'll get a mouse trapping saga, or a roach war like Mr. Pissair. But I'm living in fantasy land because Nova would never put out anything that interesting, at least not purposefully. Nope, Nova's content mainly consists of reviewing food, sometimes outside in the dark. Who are we to judge?
Trying a bento box for the first time. First up, let's start with the rice. I feel kind of silly reviewing it, but it's part of the meal. You gotta do it. Nothing special, it's just your average rice. So good.
There's just something ominous about eating a bento box in the middle of the night out by your shed. I don't know what it is, but I do know in part why Nova's doing this. He had just started his new job. One of the only times he talked about it was after his first day, saying that he absolutely loved it and was sure to make a lot of friends. But then, seemingly out of nowhere, tragedy would strike. Nova's ankle would begin to hurt. I mean, what an insane coincidence. Nova starts to finally work and then has this horrible injury. I'm being sarcastic, of course. Nova would show off his ankle, asking people if he should go to the doctor, when it looked completely fine, aside from being horribly dirty. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, this is only gonna go out to 18 plus fans. If any doctors are following me, can y'all tell me what's wrong with my ankle? So whenever I put pressure on it, it's like this part of my ankle is hurting like hell. Can somebody tell me like what it is that's might be wrong with my ankle? Because I don't think it's just normal swelling.
Personally, I think that Nova was using this ankle to get out of work. You know how I said earlier that trolls weren't the reason that he was fired? As a matter of fact, they've rarely been involved in his firings. It almost always comes down to Nova's lack of work ethic. Nova did end up going to the doctor for his ankle and was diagnosed mild swelling and given antibiotics for it, but to me personally that makes no sense. If he's having minor swelling in his ankle, Why would he need antibiotics? My little game theory is that Nova has a nasty infection that he's fighting elsewhere, and that might be what's causing mild swelling in his ankle. It was around the first week of May. Nova still had his job at Dennys, and he was still live streaming, and these live streams had devolved into little more than Nova feuding with his chat, or acting sad about one thing or another.
You do know all that shit's fake, right? The person who made those allegations should go to hell. Oh, fuck off! No, I'm not making another Discord for a long time. Not after what happened with the last one. Still have PTSD from that. Well, time you go in sub-only mode. I could only dream of collabing with TX2. Oh, fuck off! You're saying I'm ungrateful because someone tried to fucking dox me? Go to hell, actually. Blocking everyone that's fat shaming. I vowed to never go over 300 pounds, and I'm sticking to that vow. Eagle-eyed viewers of these streams also noticed a new character pop up. Nova had been alluding for some time that he now had a girlfriend, and people noticed someone being more supportive than the others. This is horrifying if you know anything about Nova's past. Nova claims that this girlfriend is of age, but we saw just last year that he was hosting a podcast with a 15-year-old. Another thing that caught my attention was him saying that Discord gave him PTSD. Nova has started numerous Discords, most of which were not age-restricted, and they have been absolute disasters. But in a little bit, I'm going to cover another Discord server that Nova has recently started, which is why I find that statement of Discord giving him PTSD so hypocritical. But once again, I'm getting way ahead of myself because so much was happening around the middle of May. A familiar face to many would appear for the first time in the Novine universe. A man named Jacob Sockness. Jacob Sockness is most well known for having a massive crush on Chris Chan, attempting to start a relationship with Chris on numerous occasions. Sockness is also well known for being the roommate of CCDN, also known as Devin, and letting him take a nice big sniff of Chris Chan's shoes, which Sockness purchased. Well, Sockness realized that he could neither make it work with Devin or Chris, so he has now moved on to Nova. In the beginning attempting to court him, but now saying that he likes Nova's mom and revealing his address in chat. It's a very one-sided and weird relationship, but because of Jacob's already well-established notoriety, I thought I'd mention it here. If I'm being honest, the Sockness thing was relatively uninteresting to me. I was far more focused on the state of Nova's home. During my last video, we talked about the end of the cleaning saga, and how I had theorized that it was just a way for Nova to look for objects he'd lost. This was low-key proven when Nova found a phone that had tons of his old videos on it, and then all of a sudden, no more cleaning saga. It almost feels like an anti-cleaning saga has begun. I didn't notice how bad things had gotten in the rest of the house until Nova posted a Popeyes review, showing that piles of garbage had popped up in nearly every room of the house. Trying the shrimp tackle box from Popeyes. This is a limited time item, and I'm excited to try it. But before I start, I just have to mention, look at how much freaking sauce they gave me. I've got enough sauces for other meals. Like, holy shit, Popeyes, I didn't need this much, and I didn't even order that much. But anyways, start off with the biscuit. It's dry, but red beans and rice, the most underrated thing at Popeyes. So good.
His house was a mess, but his life was about to get even messier. Nova had been working at Dennys for a week now and kept details pretty sparse, but one of his former coworkers would step forward on their experience working with Nova. And I'll admit, when I first saw this video, I didn't think it was real, but Nova would later confirm in a live stream that this was actually one of his coworkers, and that the stories you're about to hear actually happened.
Alright, this is the story of how I worked with Nova online, aka Gabe. Okay, so my first interaction with Gabe was when I went to reapply to Dennys. I basically got my job back in no time. The GEM was too lazy to delete my information anyway. So I see him, and he's got his hair tied back, big belly. First time I ever seen him. I never heard of him online before. And I worked a couple shifts, and I realized that he's just a weird kid. And he would play weird brain rot TikTok music in the kitchen over everyone else's music. He would consistently ask everyone, guess what? And then you would say what? And he'd say, these nuts. Pretty annoying. He was a prep cook. And in terms of his performance, it would be what you expect. He chose to hand slice every single tomato instead of using the slicer. He used wrong mixing containers to contain things and never cleaned up his kitchen and put a lot of labor on the dishwasher. The one time I wanted to deck this kid in the face was the day the water pipes broke. And I've been working almost 10 hours at this point. I'm trying to fix the mop room. I'm trying to clean it up. And this dude comes in here asking me to mop up a leaking water pipe. And I told him, bro, it's your workstation. It's your responsibility to clean this shit up. Like, it's the cook's responsibility to sweep their line. It's the prep cook's responsibility to mop up the water coming from the sink. Even if it's not your fault, you still gotta do it. And he just turns around, walks away, and says, thanks for the fucking help. Or he said in this voice, thanks for the fucking help.
It seemed like a lot of Nova's coworkers didn't like him. This is actually the second time that one of his past coworkers has come forward. In my previous video, I talked about a man that worked with Nova at Walmart, making a lot of the same claims as this Dennys employee. The man from Walmart had a video of Nova doing a food review in the break room, and this Dennys man's identity was confirmed by Nova himself during a stream. Neither of them mentioned any kind of harassment from the trolls, just that Nova had a poor work ethic. Nova's Dennys coworker didn't reveal too much on his current employment status, but it is widely assumed that Nova was already on the rocks with his new job, and his attitude during stream was part of the reason, raging more and more, almost always quitting his live stream out of sheer frustration. A couple of days later, Nova would dye his hair, really completing that Billy Mitchell look. Allegedly. I think that the new haircut and hairstyle was Nova trying to prove something. It was like what he said during that video with the mask, prepare for a brand new me. Only the extent of that was Nova's hairstyle. He was basically the same person that he had been at the beginning of this video. Only he now had a job at Dennys and claimed to have a girlfriend. And during a stream, he said he was concerned about losing both.
Thank you, Vampin' Love. I really appreciate it, but don't call me baby. I've got a girlfriend. I do not look like Leslie. Guy's a lying sack of shit. I did work with him, but a lot of the stuff he said was fucking fake. Hey, I have a job and you fucking don't. Hey, why don't you talk about you saying the N-word? Fuck off, Smokey. You're banned. Me and Jupiter were never fucking friends. My BSF is texting me, but we might not be just BSFs for long. I'm not sure if my girl partner is still with me. She hasn't been texting me for, like, ages.
So much of what he said during that stream would become incredibly ironic in the weeks to come. But for now, Nova had this cocky attitude. He thought that he had it all. The thing that he seemed to enjoy most was the prospect of getting paid. Nova assumed that this would be a new, more stable form of income. So he once again started what he calls his high-effort food reviews, this time reviewing spicy chicken.
Well, guys, it's time. I never wanted to do it, but we're here. Houston, Texas hot chicken with the Houston We Have a Problem challenge. It is actually so freaking busy in here, no joke. Hello, can I do the sandwich and tender combo?
Okay. What spice level would you like today?
So on the sandwich, I would like to do the mild. And on the tender, I'm going to do the Houston We Have a Problem. Alright guys, we're filling out the waiver. There's only one acceptable drink for this occasion, and that is Dr. Pepper. Not gonna lie, I'm actually shaking a little bit. I'm a little bit scared. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna regret this. Oh, tapping. 2 bites. It's all I can do. I'm taking the L.
I showed you this video because I think that it perfectly encapsulates Nova's current style of content and reveals a hidden agenda. Well, not that hidden, because this is a very common theory held amongst people that have viewed Nova. And it's that the primary reason behind Nova doing these food reviews is an excuse to buy fast food. He is constantly door dashing or going to restaurants, so he needs an excuse to tell his mother so she's not quite so hungry for that rent. Making the food reviews perfect. It gives him an excuse to get nearly anything. But Nova has been ordering so much that his mom is still getting on his case, so he's got to be a little bit more sneaky about it. Like this time that Nova claims people sent a pizza to his house, which had all of the toppings that he liked and was paid for. I think we all know what actually happened.
Oh yeah, nothing slaps harder than getting a free pizza sent to your house because someone prank called a pizza and the store gives it to you for free. So let's review it. They decided to order a large spinach and feta pizza to my house. Joke's on them, it is one of my favorite pizzas at Domino's. So we're going to grab a slice and we're going to review it. So, let's eat it the New Yorker way. Bone apple teeth. Oh, it's hot. So good. My only complaint, feta's a little bit salty. But other than that, this pizza, frickin' delicious. To whoever prank called that pizza, thank you for giving me a free video. And this was definitely an absolute treat. 10 out of 10. No Fun Universe, signing off.
I love how he's filming it within earshot of his mom. This video is more for her than it is for anyone else. In all of my time on YouTube, I've never seen someone send a good pizza that's been paid for. I've seen a lot of pizzas that were nearly inedible sent, and many that have not been paid for, but this was a first, and it makes me pretty damn suspicious. Another point of speculation during this time was Nova's employment. He had made a number of cryptic posts alluding to something being wrong, but he finally revealed around the 20th that he was no longer working at Dennys. He said that it just didn't work out, but there are numerous things that I believe got Nova fired. The whole ankle debacle, his co-workers hating him, and of course, the poor work ethic that his former co-worker accused him of. It was a shock to absolutely no one that Nova made it almost 3 weeks at this job. Nobody that I saw gave him longer than a month. This loss of his job, of course, caused Nova to get even angrier, and that caused even more trolling.
Bitch-ass trolls tried to sign me up for fucking Scientology bullshit. It's a cult. Here's what I gotta say to that. Never again.
Him saying never again makes me think that he's had a poor experience with Scientology in the past. I might be wrong, but I remember him alluding to something like this a couple months ago. He must have not liked how much it cost. Another thing that Nova didn't like was cleaning. The house had somehow gotten even worse. With every cooking video that he posted, dishes piled higher. Crumbs of food got even darker. Nova had gone nearly 6 months without a job. And when he finally got one, it was part-time, and he couldn't keep it for more than 3 weeks. What I'm trying to say here is that he has more free time than 95% of people, and the kitchen has only gotten worse.
Let's make pink pineapple sweet and sour chicken. Alright, we're gonna now go ahead and add our chicken to our wok. Now we're gonna season the chicken with a little bit of seasoning salt. When your chicken is nearly done, throw in some pink pineapple from a previous video. Not too much, just like about a ring or two. That is exactly what you want to see when you're cooking something like Chinese food. Well, Americanized Chinese food. And now you would normally serve this with rice, but it is currently 9:30 in the morning and I don't feel like cooking rice right now.
You might have noticed the week-old pizza box from the previous clip that I showed you making a little cameo. There are not only mountains of dishes, but also mountains of trash. Nova and his mom have a habit of purchasing a lot of things, but make no mistake, a large component of these piles is trash. It is absolutely mind-blowing to me that he has a cleaning series with over a dozen parts, and the house has only gotten worse. But Nova absolutely despises criticism in all forms, whether it's the state of his home or possible fraud that he is committing. You see, Gabe has been running a business called NovaCore, where he sells paracord bracelets. He has promised that a portion of these sales will go to charity, and provided next to no evidence that he has actually done this. Criticism of this has only gotten louder with time, and eventually Nova decided to address it in a TikTok. I want you to try and ignore the mysterious black and brown specks on his wall, and focus in on how much he's actually paid to charity, because the fact that he's mentioning an amount this small is almost comical.
Hey, also, for those of you who still don't believe that I actually do donate to charities, I'm actually going to prove it to you. Right here is a official donation receipt for NAMI DC, and this is just based off of one of my orders, so $130 has been donated to NAMI DC. And here's another one for the Autism Society of Washington. Yeah. And one thing, guys, if you're seeing this blue and yellow ribbon up there, that means that the sale supports charity. Basically, that means eBay takes a little bit more of the funds out than they're supposed to, and then they donate it to the charity of your choice. And right now I'm supporting a lot of LGBTQ and mental health organizations, because that's what NovaCore stands for. Paracord bracelets for mental health. Anyways, that's proof. Novine Universe, signing off.
The proof of him donating to charity was no more than $4, and this is supposed to silence the criticism? If anything, it did the exact opposite. Many people saw this as proof that Nova had donated no more, while using the charity aspect of his paracord bracelets as a huge selling point. Either way, it seems that he has been misleading people about what percentages are going to charity, and the legal implications of this are still unknown. When this TikTok of him showing the charity payments came out, I covered it live. I wasn't planning to cover Nova that night, but he decided to go live at the exact same time as me, and sneakily listen to my live stream while he's braiding paracord. And he wasn't very happy when he realized I was covering the charity stuff, crashing out and eventually rage quitting his stream.
Fuck off, Kiwi. I know you're watching. All you're doing is giving me more publicity and therefore more dough. I have a feeling I'm about to get hate rated, so I am not going to. I have a feeling I'm gonna get hate rated. That's why I hate streaming. But I have to do it. When are you gonna deny stop being a piece of fucking shit? Hey Kiwi, what's that video about you saying the R word and the N word in one sentence, huh? Yeah, I have a fucking video of you in a call with Smokey saying that. I'm basically trapped in an endless loop until I can find a fucking stable job. You suck at doxing. I've been trying to get a fucking real job, but no one wants to fucking hire me! Now, if you don't want me calling you all the R word, I suggest you stop.
I wasn't even watching Nova. I was watching Chris, but he automatically assumed that I was stream sniping him. Nova also says that I am giving him publicity and therefore money, but as we'll get into very shortly, ever since the demonetization of his TikTok page, Gabe has made very little on social media. And as for the publicity angle, I am more than happy to let millions of people know about all of the crappy stuff you've done, Gabe. He has the nerve to say that he's beaten the allegations, but we have a mountain of evidence. You were hosting KiwiCore with a 15-year-old, to the Discord server that he just made. That's right, folks. Discord server. Once again, Nova has been part of the creation of a Discord server. Some of you might remember what happened to his Discord server from a couple of months ago. It was completely unage restricted, Nova saying he didn't see a reason why it needed to be, and it devolved into a hellscape of grooming and just overall horrible behavior, eventually being deleted. Well, Nova has decided to start a Discord server once again, learning absolutely nothing from the previous 3.
Ladies and gents, tomorrow, another big announcement about NovaCord is coming soon. And the relaunch of the Discord server is coming soon. And this time, it's 18 plus. So I know nothing bad's gonna happen to it. Anyways, yeah. That's it.
He would start this Discord server with an individual named Locke, and they would discuss it further during a live stream.
Hey, we're gonna have an influx of new members come in.
Already?
Yeah, I'm about to share the link.
Okay.
For those who don't know, my helper is in the call right with me right now. He helped set up the whole server and everything, and he's also gonna help organize orders.
I assume that Locked is that other support mechanism that Nova was speaking about earlier in the video. Him and Nova seem like the best of friends. They're co-owning this Discord server, saying that it's going to be age verified but having absolutely no way to do so. Age verification based on just the trust system doesn't work, especially not in cesspools like Discord servers. Basically, the server is not age verified at all, it's just a label they slap on it. And numerous minors found their way in, but instead of moderating his Discord, Nova was far more concerned with negative TikTok comments.
Yeah, personally, I don't think we look similar at all because I actually have access to a hairbrush and take care of my long locks, and a shower that I use daily.
Shout out to that lady, what an absolute legend. I had to include that clip when I saw it on Twitter. Shout out Mr. Muda. But sadly, we cannot remain on such happy topics, because shit's about to get real Earl Doobie. It started with people noticing minors were openly chatting in Nova's Discord server, then came a ton of racist posts from the mods. Then, there was a bunch of adult content sent in the server. I'm talking absolutely graphic stuff. But wait. There's so much more. It was discovered that one of the mods was 15, given mod status by Nova for singing in a voice chat. Nova was a big fan of these voice chats, and a big fan of giving his entire server diaper updates. Remember when he told his mom he knew better? What an absolute lie. Nova was also lying about beating the allegations, because people discovered that he was friends with minors on Discord. It is so obvious what he's doing. The loose age verification was merely for show. Nova has a long track record of this behavior, so it's very hard for me to believe that there weren't ulterior motives behind his reasoning to start the server. Nova started this server for 2 reasons, and the other reason is promoting his paracord business, which he claims is doing well, but Nova would reveal in the Discord that he needed $900 to get his mom by the next day, saying that he only had $100 to give her now. This is just proof of what I have speculated for months now, that Nova is in his most financially dire situation yet. His mom is waiting for her SSI to go through, and it seems that he's been paying her somewhere in the realm of $1,000 a month. But with how much Nova lies, we don't know if this is the truth. God knows what he wants this money for. I also find it very suspicious that the next day Nova claimed to get into a car accident. With the way Nova described it at first, it sounded like a pretty serious event, but the picture he showed was just minor damage, and based on the location of the damage, I think it's pretty easy to tell who was at fault. Nova would get a bunch of sympathy in his Discord, but I don't know how much money he drummed up, and I honestly don't care because this event would be eclipsed by something much larger that happened the very next day. It all started when Nova's good friend and mod, Locked, was doxxed. A very detailed list of his personal information was posted to the Discord server. Someone then used this information to seize control of the Discord server and use it to troll for a little bit until deleting the server altogether. And the moment the server was hacked and nuked, Nova was live, giving us a front row seat to his reaction.
Oh yeah, let me share the Discord link in the chat. Now let's crack open the monster. ID verification is very complicated. It's like an honor system in the server, but if you if you are suspected to be underage, you will have to ID verify. For those of you wondering if I'm fine or not after the whole, you know what happened situation, I'm doing totally fine. Physically, I'm okay, yes. Paramedics checked me out. I'm fine. Proves that airbags are a lifesaver. Oh no, not the server! The server got nuked! No! Fuck! 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 Fuck me sideways! Not even 5 fucking days. The server's already gone.
Nova was extremely frustrated by the server being deleted. He craved the attention that it brought him, and seemingly had little care for the negative publicity that it brought him. After rage quitting that stream, Nova would make a TikTok hours later, once again showing just how angry he was about it.
I'm never making another fucking Discord server again. This is the motherfucking fourth.
Nova liked this server not only because he could keep talking to kids, but also the people who were sucking up, the people who gave him more excuses for his terrible behavior. Nova doesn't see anything like that in his comments section. The top comments are always critical, and he has to turn his live chat into slow mode or members only more often than not. This Discord server allowed him a place to hide from criticism, which was coming at him from all angles. His uncle Drew in particular had a bone to pick with Gabe. In these past couple months, almost all of Gabe's family members have been doxxed and harassed, his mom getting countless phone calls and text messages ever since her number was leaked, and the same happened for Uncle Drew. Uncle Drew was pissed, and he told Nova off about it, leading us to this clip I'm about to show you. I don't know where it came from. I assume that it was leaked on Discord before it was deleted, but it's a phone call between Gabe and his mom, and he is actively panicking about how mad Uncle Drew is.
Mom, this is urgent. Fucking urgent. Andy just texted me again.
Yes.
His phone number got leaked, and now he's blaming. I'm fucking shaking.
Gabriel, you had nothing to do with
He's gonna give me to do. I'm fucking scared.
Gabriel. She can't have you go to jail for his phone number somehow being leaked.
He just sent us word for word. Okay, you pervert, you get my phone off of TikTok before you have an accident. Word for word.
A message. Okay, I can't do anything right where I am right now. Carefully when I get home, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm literally about to fucking talk him down. Like, fucking, like, go at him.
Gabriel, no, don't do anything right now when I get home, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Take your pills, okay?
I already did.
And a little bit, okay?
Okay. Okay. I love you too, bye.
How can Nova's mom sit there and confidently say that Gabe had nothing to do with his uncle's phone number being leaked? None of them would even be in this situation if A, Nova wasn't online, and B, he wasn't so infamous. The more and more I hear from his mother, it seems like she's just been making excuses. But Uncle Drew isn't. Not only does he strike the fear of God into Nova, but he also calls him a perv, which is absolutely hilarious. There is no one on earth who can get under Gabe's skin like his uncle. His most notorious meltdowns have come at the hands of Uncle Drew. Personally, I think he just likes to keep it real. I talked talked earlier about how Nova won't take criticism in any form. His uncle has a legitimate reason to be angry with him. His antics online are not only impacting his life, but the lives of people around him. People who are his family, so they have no choice but to be around him. Nova just wants to rage on his uncle. He doesn't want to accept any responsibility, and this is how it's always been. With Nova, history just keeps repeating itself. Job drama, uncle drama, Discord drama. It's all happened many times before, and I can only assume that it will continue to happen into the future. Nova said that he beat the allegations, but this video shows the exact opposite. The allegations continue to pile up. He claims that by people covering his antics, he's getting free publicity and therefore money. But ever since Nova became a hot topic of discussion on the internet, things have only gotten worse for him, especially in the finance department. Demonetized on TikTok, no job, making next to nothing on his paracord bracelets. Gabe has claimed a lot of things, most of them lies, but there is one truth that I think everyone is able to discern, that because of his own choices, Nova has big problems.